Today, we're talking about AdSense monetization. So if you're a newer creator or a smaller channel, this will be among the first major milestones to try to achieve. But you may be asking, what actually happens when you reach AdSense monetization? Do you suddenly become rich and you get to afford guacamole with your Chipotle? Do you learn some sort of Google secret handshake? And do you run the risk of potentially losing your monetization status? So we're going to answer all of those questions, and I'm going to do my best to make sense out of AdSense and show you what it looks like to convert views into literal sense, all while making that word completely meaningless for you by the end of this video. Now, definitely hang out with me towards the end because I'm going to break down for you my 27-week journey by the numbers of how I went from 0 watch time hours all the way to over 4,000. Okay, let's start with the basics. So if you don't already know, the YouTube Partner Program has 2 tiers of monetization, and you can actually apply early when you reach 500 subscribers and 3,000 watch time hours. That's tier 1, and that opens up 2 monetization features, namely memberships and supers. Now, when you reach 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch time hours, that's when you get to tier 2, and this is where AdSense becomes available. In addition to AdSense, there's also Shopping and Brand Connect. And if you want a complete breakdown on how all of these monetization features work, you can check out my video right over here. Now, the best way to track your progress towards monetization is in the YouTube Studio and in the Earn tab. There will be blue progress bars that track your progress, but just know that they're a couple days behind your actual results. And as you get closer to reaching the different tiers, you'll start to see tiles and pop-ups in your YouTube Studio, letting you know when you're able to apply. Applying to the YouTube Partner Program only takes a few days, and it's pretty simple to do. And then once you reach that second tier, you'll get a notification that you can apply for AdSense and that you can enable ads on all your videos. Now, when you apply for AdSense, this will also only take a couple days, but it does require a photo ID verification. And in my case, it didn't like my driver's license, so I had to use my passport. So hopefully you don't have that issue. But the other thing it will do as well is they're going to physically mail you a PIN as a way of verifying your physical address. That's going to be required in order for you to receive payment from any ads that you get on your channel. In addition, the minimum amount earned is $100 to extract a payment. Now, some of the cool things you'll notice in your YouTube Studio after you reach these tiers is specifically within the Earn tab. This is the first place to come look. You'll be able to see at the top, there are tabs for memberships, so you can see if anyone is signed up for a monthly channel membership. You can also come into your supers to see who's been donating via super chats, super stickers, and super thanks. And then once you reach that second tier of monetization, there will be a shopping tab and your brand connect tab. Shopping is essentially a way of setting up a third-party e-commerce platform that may be hosting sales for, say, merchandise, bringing that into the YouTube ecosystem so that you can have a product shelf underneath your videos. Brand Connect is a way for you to set up a profile so that potential sponsors can take a look at your channel analytics to know if you might be a good fit for their product. When you scroll down on the right, you'll see there's a media kit that YouTube automatically generates. You can think of this as like a one-page PDF that gives all of your channel highlights to a potential brand so they can evaluate your demographic and your audience interest. Now, a couple other things that are new once you reach that second tier of monetization is you'll actually in your content tab now see a monetization column. And this will be just a visual representation as to whether ad revenue is enabled for your videos. If you want to disable it, you can simply hit the drop down and hit off and then save it. And this is also a way for you to see as well if you have any copyright strikes on any of your videos. Copyright strikes and community guideline violations and inactivity can put you at risk for losing your monetization status. Another update is going to be within the analytics tab itself. And you'll notice 2 things. On the right here, there is a new estimated revenue tab that you can click on. And this is going to show you a nice day-by-day breakdown of how much money you're earning through ads, through memberships, and through supers. And then at the top, there's also a revenue tab as well, where again, you can see a breakdown of your income broken out by income source. Now, of course, if you're like me and you want to get a little more nerdy, you can come into See More. And here you'll see an estimated revenue column has been added. You can sort it high to low, and this will be a great way for you to see your highest performing videos in terms of ad income. Now, one thing you may want to dig into is adding in the CPM metric by hitting the plus sign right here and clicking on CPM. If you're not familiar with CPM, this will be among the more important metrics to know once your AdSense monetized. CPM means cost per meal, And this is essentially the amount that advertisers are willing to pay YouTube for each 1,000 views. Now, the CPM itself isn't what you get as the creator. You actually get the RPM, which is revenue per meal, and that's approximately 55% of the CPM. But the CPM is important to understand because as you look at your channel, you'll notice some videos have a higher CPM than others. And if your strategy is to maximize ad revenue, you'll probably want to create videos that share similar topics or content as the ones that have the highest CPM. So for my very first day of being monetized through ads, I made $5.55. And so to answer the question, it is no, I still cannot afford guacamole from Chipotle. But all that to say, it's my first day earning ad revenue. And it does feel good. There's this sense of accomplishment that has come with seeing this in the YouTube studio. And I would just encourage everybody that is trying to reach this threshold to just stay the course and don't give up. And I'm going to show you right now why it's important to just keep pressing forward. So here is my monetization tracker. And some of you may have seen this. This is a document that I've been updating every week for the last 27 weeks. And it's just a way for me to see week over week how my channel is performing essentially. And you'll see there are up weeks and you'll see there are a lot of down weeks. And that's the moral of the story. That is the plight of the YouTuber, if you will. This is really where everybody is. Like there's a lot of times where you will have a breakout week and it is just followed up by a week or two or many weeks of not so great traction and results. And so I just want to give you guys the ability to see how my channel has evolved over time from getting weeks where it was a couple hundred views and maybe a handful of subscribers and not that many watch time hours to slowly increasing that average over time. And in the last 4 or 5 weeks, I've been having a lot of really good results on my channel. And so that's a really validating feeling. And I think the more you put in, the more you'll get out. So for anyone who's at their very early stages and you have no idea how you're going to get to your watch time target, I felt exactly the same way. I want to show you something here. One of the things I've been tracking is the number of weeks it would take me to reach my watch time target. So back when I first started, back in August, a few weeks in, I was doing so poorly that it was going to take me about 4.5 years to reach 4,000 watch time hours. But I knew that regular posting and staying consistent and trying to add value and just trying to get better would ultimately bring the number of weeks down. And in time, it did. The curve bent substantially within the first 10 weeks. But even then, 126 weeks to reach my watch time target, it was still very challenging. But you have to just keep pressing forward and keep uploading and keep building the momentum. I've been talking about this a lot. YouTube is so momentum oriented that you have to keep adding to it. And the snowball eventually gets so big, you start to build this critical mass and you start to earn all of these additional viewers and subscribers and watch time hours. And then slowly but surely, you get closer and closer to your watch time target. And then before you know it, you're there. So for me, it took 17 weeks to hit 1,000 subscribers. And it took 27 weeks to get to 4,000 watch time hours. And I want to show you another way of visualizing this. So it took me 119 days to get 1,000 subscribers and 1,500 watch time hours. And then it took me less than half of that to reach the second 1,000 and 3,000 watch time hours. So 48 days. And then it took me another 24 days to reach what will hopefully be my 3,000 subscriber mark with 4,700 watch time hours. So I show you this because I really want to emphasize that there is this almost exponential growth curve that happens when you start and grow your YouTube channel. And oftentimes when you are in the very early stages and you're not seeing the curve bend at all, it's hard to know when that curve will start to bend and when you'll start to see traction. But you really just have to keep posting and keep pushing and keep showing up. And eventually things will start to bend and you'll start to see that S-shaped curve materialize. So if you're feeling a little down or a little defeated, I know all too well where you're coming from. I've been there for the majority of the last 6 months. But I will say the algorithm is interesting and it caters to session duration. And if you want to learn more about the algorithm and how to make your content more binge worthy so that you can increase your watch time hours and keep viewers watching your videos longer, I'd highly encourage you to check out the video right over here so you can learn how to do that.